Hello and welcome to another Bushwhacker review. Today we're going to be taking a look at some more NASCAR authentic stuff, this time waves 3 and 4 for 2017. Let's take a look at the packaging. It's basically the same, but there's a couple changes on the wave 4 packaging. You can see that they actually did add the kind of new NASCAR logo up at the top. So you have a new NASCAR Authentics logo for the first time, because you know they did change the NASCAR logo. Other than that, it's basically the same, so has the waves, so has the stuff on the back and all that, but worth pointing out the new NASCAR logo. So why don't we just hop right into the video and get the best car out of Wave 3, Tony Stewart's Homestead Final Ride car. With all the signatures, the metallic paint, all that good stuff. See, all the signatures are actually on this little 1/64th. I have reviewed the 1/24 of this car, so if you really want a detailed explanation, you can see that one. Interestingly enough, the 1/24 is a raced version, but the 1/64 is not. Everyone went all apeshit over the Indianapolis, the Brickyard one, because the 1/64 wasn't raced like the 1/24, but everyone kind of ignored this one for some reason. I mean, there was barely any race stuff to it, it's just like some dirt and stuff, so it really wouldn't have been shown up anyways, but still, it's kind of funny how people pick one and not the other. Definitely not a bad final ride. It was better than Jeff Gordon's, but Dale Jr. definitely wins so far, because he actually ran a throwback, which both Gordon and Tony should have done, but whatever. But I know how much everyone is loving that Dale Jr. final ride. I'm sure we'll get an authentic, so that's kind of a given. Well, pretty much like 99% of people love it. Then I've seen a couple people like, oh, a throwback? I wanted a new paint scheme. Why would you want it? It's like everyone else is loving that their driver's running a throwback, and you want some random car like this that's just kind of stupidly random. Yeah, no. Actually, the only thing going for this car was the fact it was metallic and all the signatures. So that's pretty nice. There you can see the incredible decaling from Lionel. Next up, we have Paul Menard's 2017 Richmond Menard Chevrolet. You can see more of that incredible Lionel quality. Like I said before, the quality on the 1/64s has gone way down this year. I don't know why everyone's ignoring it. Like, people usually all over Lionel for this stuff, but like every Authentics I've been getting this year has little chips, flaws, bubbles, like all the kind of crap that's all over the thing. It's like everyone just doesn't seem to pay attention to them. More on the A-post, it's just kind of disappointing. But again, it's a 1/64, I don't really care as much on a 1/64. Here it is next to basically the design of the car from last year. You see, they basically kept the front end piece of it, but then they changed the back to be black back here all the way, and they got rid of the, like, scallops. I've never really been a fan of these cars. Like, the RCR Menards cars were either really boring or just, like, they try to get a design in them like these, and they just do not work very well. I can't wait to see what Menards does with the Wood Brothers, because hopefully it's a little more clean of a paint scheme, but I haven't really liked any of the RCR paint schemes the last few years. I also don't know why it seems like every year they just kind of choose a random sponsor to make the diecast for it, because it does basically change every single year. I think Richmond Water Heaters was produced once before, I don't think Moen ever was, up until this year. Or that was last year, I mean. I also hate anything they do that stop ending designs at the side skirt. Just like cuts off. It looks really stupid. But whatever. That's Paul Menard. And now we get to why Wave 3 is kind of a failure. As you're probably noticing, you might be seeing a little bit of some deja vu right here. That is because we have 2 Jimmie Johnson cars and 2 Daniel Suarez cars. 2 of which are championship cars. The Jimmie Johnson one is an as-back, so you have your championship car and then you have your 2017. The Suarez is kind of really a waste of time, but why don't we just get the championship car out of the way. Just a typical Lowe's car, but does have the yellow numbers and the chase stuff. Does still have the nice metallic paint. And you can see the championship logo that everyone just loves so very much. Plastered on the roof. As you know, it's not like anyone would buy just like a cool chase championship version of like his car at Homestead or anything. Well, I mean, they did because it's a raced version, but like, come on. Nobody wants championship cars. They'd rather have a clean version of the chase version of whatever paint scheme, whatever driver wins. Their standard paint scheme that they ran in the chase. Like if Logano won last year, make the Mosaic Chase clean car. Better than a championship car, but whatever. Carl Edwards, regular Eris car. Some more quality control right there. Just a waste of time. Here is the 2017 Jimmie Johnson Lowe Chevrolet. Now this one is a fine choice. Got to get his 2017 brand new primary out there. Here's next to the 2016 primary diecast. See, the original one just had white numbers, so that's why the yellow numbers kind of worked. But I think I did like the silver more than the white for Jimmie Johnson, but I like that they added some extra yellow to kind of work with the yellow number. But at the same time, they got rid of the yellow number on the side, so the yellow kind of looks a little more random. Why did you put a yellow number on the side? You finally brought back your yellow number just to get rid of it instead of the roof? That I don't understand at all, but it's definitely not a terrible paint scheme. It also just kind of cut off right there. Also has the stupid A-post shit that Hendrick has such a boner for to cheat their cars up. I love everyone ignores that. Like that's basically they do that for an aero advantage, some way, shape, or form. The way it like splits the wrap or something. I don't know. But yet everyone just kind of ignores that or like acts like nobody should pay attention to the fact they're doing that. I mean, Hendrick hasn't really been that fast this year, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But who knows? This one again has the metallic blue paint that looks fantastic. I'm pretty sure it doesn't even use it that much. Half time has just like a full-on wrapped blue car that just isn't metallic at all. That's half the time you can really tell the difference between a wrapped car and a painted car from Hendrick, because it'll go from like the shiny metallic colors to like a plain, boring, generic, plain-looking color. Because everyone just seems to think that Hendrick always paints their cars, but it's kind of obvious when they don't. Next up we have Daniel Suarez 2016 Airs Toyota for the Xfinity Series, I mean. A lot of these bases have been like not actually on all the way. But it's kind of weird. You know, this is fine. Give us the standard diecast of the championship winner. But then they had to pile that on with the championship chase version of it in the same wave for some reason. Except it has the stupid logo on the roof, and they changed the stuff to be the red spoiler, splitter, windshield banner, all that. Other than that, pretty much exactly the same car. Oh, and winter stickers. Can't forget the winter stickers. Lionel, what are you doing? This was such a waste of time. Why would you give us two of the exact same car in the same wave? This wave is peg warming everywhere. The Paul Menard was hard to find. The Tony Stewart sold well. The other ones piled up like shit. Everywhere you go, I find the Championship Johnson and the Suarez cars. Everywhere there's a couple of the Johnsons 2017s laying around, but it's a failed wave. I think it's one of the worst waves of Authentics yet. And that is really saying something. But luckily they did sort of redeem themselves and have a much more solid for Wave 4. Once again, I have a championship car. Had to throw that in. Had to get both of his championship cars, the regular and the Cobalt Tools car. Because why not, I guess. Interestingly enough, it is a different yellow. I hope that's coming across, but the yellow on the Cobalt Tools car is darker than the yellow on the Lowe's car for the chase stuff. However that works, I have no idea. But they did it, so whatever. You can see more quality control from Lionel. Hole through the O of Cobalt. Whatever. This isn't a matte black finish with a metallic silver, which did look very, very nice. The Cobalt Tools cars have looked pretty good the last few years. Even like the regular Cobalt Tools car from this year better than the, Lowe's car from this year. The Cobalt Tools car is in Wave 5, so we'll get to that when we get to that. I actually did just find Wave 5 recently, so whenever I find Wave 6, you'll see a review again. But next up, why don't we get to the actual new cars of the wave? So we have Chase Elliott's Kelley Blue Book Chevrolet for 2017. Here it is. A big improvement from last year's mess of a paint scheme. This one just has so much better curves. This one had like a random white line that went through the window and like a gold number you could barely even see on the door, and was not very impressed at all. But they definitely improved on it this year. This paint scheme looks much more clean and colorful. Still has the nice metallic blue, which looks fantastic. Really, Kelley Blue Book cars never look that good. This is probably my favorite out of all the Kelley Blue Book cars from the Hendrick cars for the past years. Does, of course, still have the A-post shit, but, whatever. They even put that on the goddamn Darlington throwback. Chase Elliott's, like, baby blue Darlington throwback, they threw, like, a random dark blue A-post split thing for no reason other than to cheat it up. Like, don't ruin a throwback with your crap. Come on, people. But, whatever. Next up we have Casey Cain's Great Clips Chevrolet for 2017. Now, as you probably know, there's multiple paint schemes in NASCAR that don't really change that much or stay the same year after year. This one has definitely lasted longer than it should have. Like, at least the Scallop Logano car looks kind of nice. Some of the other ones look kind of nice, but this one is just, I have never liked this car. Some people like it. It's like, oh, cool matte black with all the cool colors and asymmetrical design. It's awesome, but I just don't like it. It's a mess as far as I'm concerned. Here's 2013's diecast. See, it wasn't in matte black, but as you can pretty much see, it is pretty much the exact same design. So you got red around the splitter, blue around the wheel, red point, dark green, light green, blue, light blue, dark red, red. Sort of the split A-post going on, red and blue. Oh, this one has an extra green point on the back where you say Farmers Insurance. But it is pretty much the exact same paint scheme. The blue doesn't continue around the back as much. Never been a fan of this car. Great Clips is leaving, so we're finally rid of this car. I used to love the old, like, red, black, and white Great Clips cars. So whatever. Next up, we have the basically highlight of the wave, Kevin Harvick's Hunt Brothers Pizza Ford Mustang, which was a DNP in 1/64 scale. This was produced in 1/24 scale, so it's not a full DNP, but this is the only way if you're one of those 1/64 scale only collectors. Definitely a nice paint scheme this year. The green with the red and the white just look fantastic, much better than the random designs. This is a very clean looking paint scheme. Basically use the same paint scheme on Elliott Sadler's Camaro for Junior Motorsports. Which I think they did produce that too, or did that only get produced in 1/24 scale? Also, I don't remember. But definitely a nice car to get in the Authentics line, because I'll always take exclusives and DNPs and stuff, just for the fact that it does kind of make people actually want to go out and buy the cars. But again, they're doing a lot better job this year getting out these cars around the same time as the releases, sometimes even before the other regular releases. Because that was really the problem last year, is like people would pick up their like favorite driver's primary back in like February, and then like it was like August. Oh, here's that Jimmie Johnson primary Lowe's car. It's like, wait, what? But this year they're actually getting them out pretty well. I don't think there's really any cars that have been really long after the regular release. I'm sure there's been a few, but whatever. Next up we have Danica Patrick's Tax Act Ford for 2017. Still does have Nature's Bakery, which they did come back on Boyer's car more than Danica's car for some reason, which was kind of funny. But does this have that blacked out side skirt? If you remember back when I did the review of the Kurt Busch Monster Energy 124, I pointed out how they randomly blacked out the side skirt. They did it on this car too, so I guess that is a Stuart Haas thing. Looks even worse on this car. Black on the gray with the white, but I don't know. This is basically the same Tax Act car as last year. Here's the Tax Act car from a couple years ago, which had a pretty cool design to it. I really like this older one. This is back from 2015, I believe. Much better than the current one. Had a much more cool design with the dark red, the black, the like fade. This one's just kind of generic looking, but what are you gonna do? Next up we have Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s 2017 Fastenal 50 Years car. This is the special paint scheme he raced at Auto Club. It basically was filled with the names of all like Fastenal employees. So you can kind of see there's like some dashes and some like lines there, but they didn't actually copy any of the names over, but you can kind of see where they meant to have the marks where it would have been names. Basically a reverse of the regular Fastenal colors. You know, the regular one is white on top and kind of blue around the bottom, but this one kind of reversed it. I actually kind of like how this color design looks better than the regular one. The added white with just the blue highlights looks better than mostly blue with white highlights as far as I'm concerned. Also to note, it has the Lowe Downforce Spoiler. Like, here you can see the Ryan Blaney. They actually did shave down the spoiler to make it the Lowe Downforce Spoiler. So like I said, I think I've said this one on 124 reviews, but they actually updated the 164 spoilers before the 124 ARCs for some reason, but at least they're trying. So that's good to see. Can't tell, does it have the digital dash at all? And it's hard to tell. Because they're updating the digital dash. I believe some cars are also coming out with black bases now, but that might only be in the regular releases. Next up we have Ryan Blaney's Wood Brothers 21. You can see more of that incredible quality control. Oh, Lionel. This one basically stayed the same. Here it is from last year. So there's really not much different on this car at all. Doesn't have the rookie stripe, so that's a plus. But this is a paint scheme that really shouldn't change. This is just an iconic classic. The old Wood Brothers colors, basically what they've been using since like the 60s. So this one I will never have a problem with. This could stay the same for years upon years upon years. And it's definitely nice to get another diecast. He got his first win this year, so if you want his first win car, hopefully get a 164 diecast in this Authentics line for the race win. But that's basically all there is to talk about Wave 4. Let's get Wave 3 back out here. So like I said, Wave 4 is a pretty solid everyday wave. Nothing really complaints about that wave. Wave 3 is a kind of a waste of a wave because of the double Suarez and Johnson cars. But you can't complain too much because what are you going to do about it? But they did step up their game. There hasn't really been a bad wave that I've seen revealed. They've revealed up to like Wave 7 by now, I think. So we kind of know what's coming out, and there's a lot of fantastic choices. I have no idea if they're going to do another Darlington Throwback wave, because that Darlington Throwback weekend's in a couple weeks. So, I mean, it kind of failed last year. I'd rather they just, if they ever release a Darlington Throwback wave, release it regularly to all stores. None of this Walmart exclusive bullshit. But I don't think it will be ready for Darlington. They might still do a wave, but it might be later, because there's really not many that are going to be out for Darlington. Like, basically, Keselowski's Miller Genuine Draft car, some of the Hendrick cars are already in production, but other than that, it's been kind of slow on reveals. Most of them are only going up and like getting pulled later, which kind of sucks, but oh well. So hopefully we get Darlington Throwbacks, because you know how much I love my Darlington Throwbacks. But like I said, I already found Wave 5, so whenever I find Wave 6, or whenever that gets released, you'll see a review of those two waves next. But I think that's pretty much all there's to say. This has been a review of the NASCAR Authentics Waves 3 and 4. Hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.